Have you ever been in a relationship where something just feels wrong? You can't put your finger on it, but there's this little alarm bell ringing in the back of your mind. It's not one huge, obvious problem. It's more like a collection of tiny, confusing moments that just keep piling up.
And all those little moments, they can really make you start to question yourself. You start thinking, am I overreacting? Is this normal? Maybe I'm the one who's seeing things wrong? That feeling of confusion, that constant doubt, that right there is a sign that something needs a closer look.
So, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about 10 of these subtle behaviors. On their own, they might not seem like a big deal, but when you start seeing them together, well, they can paint a picture of a much bigger issue. Understanding these signs is really the first step toward building relationships based on genuine trust. But before we jump in, if this is a topic that resonates with you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. That way, you won't miss out on what we cover next. We really appreciate your support.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with patterns in communication. Then, we'll get into some alarming actions and habits. After that, we'll cover mindsets of manipulation. And we'll wrap it all up by talking about the real foundation of a healthy connection.
Let's kick things off with communication, because it's often not what people say, but the patterns behind their words that tell you everything you need to know.
Okay, sign number 1. Pay close attention to how she talks about her past relationships. Is every single one of her ex-boyfriends crazy or toxic or the worst person ever? Sure, we all have a bad breakup story, but when she was the perfect angel in every single past relationship and they were all monsters, that should make you pause.
What this really points to is a complete lack of self-reflection. In a healthy relationship, both people can look back and admit where they messed up. If she's always the victim, it means she never takes accountability. And here's the part that matters for you. If everyone in her past is a villain, you're just auditioning to be the next one in her story.
All right, number 2. What happens when she does something wrong? Does she say something like, "Sorry I was so harsh, I'm a Scorpio, I can't help it"? Or maybe she's late for the 3rd time this week and blames it on Mercury being in retrograde.
Listen, using astrology or anything else as a get-out-of-jail-free card is a major red flag. It's a way of saying, this is just who I am, so don't expect me to change. A mature partner owns their mistakes. They work on them. They don't just point to the sky and say it's not their fault.
Let's talk about what happens after a disagreement. A few minutes after you two argue, do you see a new post on her social media? Some vague, passive-aggressive quote like, "Some people will never get it," or "Know your worth." You know it's about you, even if your name isn't on it.
This is Passive Aggression 101. Instead of coming to you to work through the problem, she's taken it public. Why? To get her friends to rally around her and to make you feel guilty. It's a way to try and win the fight by using social pressure instead of honest communication.
Okay, let's shift gears from words to actions. Now we're going to look at some habits and behaviors that can build invisible walls in a relationship. Sign number 4. Does it feel like you have to be available 24/7? We're talking about nonstop texts when you're trying to work and getting upset if you don't reply within minutes. This goes way beyond just wanting to stay connected. It's a constant, draining need for validation.
And what happens over time? You get completely burned out. There's no space left for your own life, your friends, or your hobbies. Your relationship starts to feel less like a partnership and more like a job where your only task is to manage her emotions. It often stems from her insecurity, but it's not your responsibility to sacrifice your own mental health to fix it.
Now, this next one is subtle, so you have to watch for it. Every time she puts her phone down, does she automatically, without thinking, flip it so the screen is facing down? Does she get jumpy or snatch it up the second a notification comes through? It's a small reflexive habit that can say a whole lot.
And look, this isn't about privacy. Everyone deserves privacy. This is about secrecy. Privacy is having your own space. Secrecy is actively hiding something from your partner. That screen down habit, it's a physical barrier that suggests there's something on that phone she knows you wouldn't approve of. And that's how trust starts to break down.
All right, we're moving into heavier territory now. Let's talk about manipulative mindsets. This is where things shift from simple insecurity to behaviors that are really about control and playing games with your emotions.
Sign number 6. Does she ever show you her phone and say something like, "Look what his boyfriend got her. Why can't we be like them?" She's holding up the perfectly polished, often sponsored, highlight reels of social media influencers as the standard for your real life.
Here's the thing, you will never win that comparison, ever, because real life is messy and complicated and Instagram is a fantasy.
When she constantly measures your relationship against an impossible ideal, it's designed to make you feel like you're not good enough, and you'll always fall short.
Next, let's talk about the dreaded tests. Does she ever start a fight out of thin air just to see if you'll fight for her? Or maybe she'll ignore your messages for hours on end just to see how many times you'll text her. These aren't tests of love. They are games of manipulation designed to keep you insecure and constantly seeking her approval.
Think about what happens when you try to set a simple boundary. Maybe you say, "Hey, I just need a quiet night to myself," or "I'm going out with my friends on Friday." How does she react? Does she get upset? Does she make you feel guilty, as if needing personal space is a direct rejection of her?
This is so important. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about maintaining respect. Someone who truly loves and respects you will always respect your need for personal space. Someone who gets angry about it doesn't want a partner, they want control.
This one is just plain toxic. Does she go out of her way to tell you about the guy at her office who is always flirting with her? Or does she maybe get a little too friendly with the waiter right in front of you and then immediately look over at you to see a reaction? Believe me, that is not an accident.
So why does she do it?
It's all about power and validation. Making you feel jealous and insecure gives her a quick hit of feeling desirable and in control. It's a strategy that uses your emotional pain to boost her own ego, and that is not a healthy dynamic.
Here's a subtle one. You come home from a long day excited to tell her about a big win at work, but somehow, within minutes, the conversation is all about her stressful day. Or maybe you're trying to open up about something you're struggling with, and she immediately pivots to how her problems are so much worse.
This pattern has a name. It's called emotional narcissism. It's a dynamic where your wins, your losses, your feelings, they all take a backseat to hers. You stop being an equal partner in a relationship and instead become a supporting character in the movie of her life.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from communication issues to straight-up manipulation. Now, let's bring it all home and talk about the one thing that all of these signs point to.
Think about it. Badmouthing exes, blaming the stars, making you jealous, posting cryptic quotes, ignoring your boundaries. Every single one of these behaviors boils down to one fundamental problem: a lack of respect. Respect for you as a person, respect for your feelings, and respect for the relationship itself. Because at the end of the day, a strong, healthy relationship isn't built on mind games and control. It's built on a solid foundation of mutual respect. It's built on honest communication, not passive aggression. It's built on trust, not on tests. It's built on both people taking responsibility for their actions and growing together.
So, here's the final question I want to leave you with. Take a hard look at your relationship's foundation. Is it built on that solid ground of mutual trust and respect? Or are you starting to see some of these cracks, these subtle red flags that might suggest it's not built to last?
If this presentation gave you something valuable to think about, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. We're always breaking down important topics like this to give you clarity and insight.
And now, let's open up the conversation. What do you believe is the biggest cornerstone of a healthy relationship? Have you ever experienced any of these red flags yourself? Share your thoughts and your stories in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you.